This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic. And Johnny, I gotta ask you, because this is a throwback to last week's episode.
Nope, what are you talking about?
How does it feel to be your first week into the year-old age of 29?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea?
I don't
No
age.
idea about your special birthday you
I
had
don't
last
age.
week? But that was a throwaway to last week. So if you didn't see last week's episode, wish a happy birthday, a belated one, to Johnny. You were going to say something?
Wish happy Johnny to birthday.
Yeah, wish happy Johnny to birthday. If I can speak English, it is hard. But if you've watched our Twitch streams and you're like, Ricky, I know you've been up at 3 a.m. playing MLB The Show. What's going on? Welcome in to the Rick and Johnny podcast, where we talk about everything under the two nerdy suns, from superheroes to comics, little bit of TV, entertainment, movies. We talk about everything, and we're glad that you can join us yet again. Make sure to hit us up on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That is how you support us. This studio that has been called an eyesore, Johnny. Do you think our studio's a bit of an eyesore? I mean, it is white, depending on how much light comes in from the window behind us. I got to change the white balance on the camera. But if you think our studio's an eyesore, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast is how you help support us. Our biggest goal, our number one goal, is to get a new studio, a studio of our own that we can truly have as the MVP headquarters. But Johnny, we got a jam-packed show today. Not only did DC decide, hey, we're going to be gracious and drop off a trailer of Titan Season 2 that at this point is, let's see, from this past Friday, the 9th, we are now under under a month away. So they basically were like, hey, we're coming up to the 4-month anniversary, or the 4-month, kind of ticket, or, what am I looking for if I can speak English? The 4-month period to where we're like, oh, we're a month away from the season. They gave us a new trailer. We're going to basically talk about that. Then we're going to look at Venom 2. Andy Serkis is directing. What do we want to see from that movie? And then kind of a fun MCU rumor topic of The Rock having some fun with Deadpool director and also director of Hobbs and Shaw. And could we see The Rock in the MCU? We're going to talk about his potential role that he could play. But let's start with this Titans. And if you either didn't watch Titans, if you don't remember, like, okay, I got to rewatch it. How did that wrap up? Basically, the entire season was wrapped around the main story of Raven and dealing with her and her issues. And then at the end, we got Trigon. And boom, that's where we were left off. Trigon is now in the world. He has taken over Raven, taken over Robin, basically, too. And in this trailer, Johnny, I know we've seen him in other Season 2 trailers, but in this one, we don't really see him. So the first thing I want to ask you is, before we get into all the cool nuts and bolts, the Superboys, the Aqualads, the Donna Troys that are going to be in it, the Ian McKellen, I think his name is. Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones. Jorah Mormont, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into our first look at him as Bruce Wayne and Batman, the first thing I want to ask you is something that me personally, I'm not wary about. I'm interested to see how they do it, because they built up Trigon for an entire season. Now, from what I'm hearing from all the other entertainment people that are in the know more than you and I, they're saying that episode 1 of season 2 was originally shot as the last episode of last season, but they scrapped it, cut it up, and made it into basically episode 1. Basically, the first 2 episodes of season 2 is going to be wrapping up the Trigon storyline. In your mind, just as in general, an entire story that you've built up a season before, is it going to feel too rushed to basically wrap up an entire season story arc in 2 episodes before you start your season 2?
It's kind of weird. My thing is, it's kind of weird to wrap up your storyline in another season and then start a new storyline. Like, oh, here's 2 episodes to wrap everything up. Now here's everything else. Unless the only way I could say get away with it is like it's the like sort of wrapping up of Trigon, and we're not like getting rid of him, but like to kind of lay everything to rest for now with like what's going on with Trigon, and the rest of the episodes are kind of like the trickle down effect of whatever happened from that.
So, and here's what I'm thinking too, is because with Titans, and this is even happening in Teen Titans as well, is we all know, and when we see the trailer, when we see Raven with the gem in her forehead, we all know by seeing that, okay, Trigon is going to get trapped in that gem and get stuck right into Raven's forehead. Which, first off, I saw the gem and I got like giddy like a little schoolgirl. Like, I just fucking loved it. Her look looks amazing. We're going to get into Starfire's look. Like, I like her look a lot better this season than we basically got last season. We'll talk about Deathstroke and his look because I'm still a little iffy on it. The big thing hearing that is Trigon is a big baddie. I do wonder if what you said is, hey, Season 1 was to get to know these characters, introduce them the way we're going to introduce them. And it's like, we're not getting rid of Trigon. We didn't end that story. We're just going to put a kibosh on him right now. We've introduced him. We didn't not oversaturate. We didn't give you too much. It's not like we filled the water glass and now it's overflowing to where casual viewers like, who the hell is this Trigon? I can't wrap my head around it. Puts a nice kibosh. We can come back to him later while getting to Deathstroke, who is the biggest bad of the... Because there's the Trigon Supernatural, but Deathstroke is the... And if I say Deadshot, by the way, I just mean Deathstroke. Because literally this Deathstroke... I'll mention it first. First thing we'll talk about with what's in the trailer. What are your thoughts with the Deathstroke look? Because even looking at him in the trailer... compared to the stills that Dave and I talked about when you were on your little siesta, is basically he still looks like Deadshot to me in the trailer and in the footage, or in the still that we saw weeks ago.
I mean, it's super dark in there, but just having that glowing red eye makes him look like Deadshot.
No, and that's exactly what I thought. It's just like is it Deadshot? Is it Deathstroke? Do you think that we're going to see... classic, basically, I almost said Wade Wilson, but classic Wade Deathstroke, Slade is Slade what Wilson. I'm dealing with. Are we going to see classic Slade where I'm thinking first time I saw Deathstroke on the Teen Titans cartoon of just hit his face, computer screen, message to the Titans, like, is he going to be as intimidating, I think we're hoping, as intimidating in this as he was in the Teen Titans cartoon, you think?
I hope he is.
I mean, that's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you would want. You want him to be real intimidating. So, like, Idris Elba in his
Hobbs and Shaw, is that what you're thinking
Hobbs
about?
and Shaw, I was thinking more so as...
Shere Khan?
Shere Khan.
Okay, yeah, the Jungle Book. Because he was fucking like... It was like, I got chills.
I got more chills than I ever did.
And they were multiplying. What are your thoughts from this? Like, what from the trailer are you looking at that you either like, you don't like, that you want to get into?
I'm trying to think.
Because, I mean, we've got Aqualad, we've got Bruce Wayne now. We actually got to hear Bruce Wayne and how he's going to talk. Basically, to me, it's the Jorah Mormont voice. Like, he didn't change his voice much to be Bruce Wayne. And also, we get Superboy and... Crypto.
Yeah, I saw Crypto. I didn't notice Superboy when I was going through it. I mean, I'm curious because I'm not caught up like you are with it. Is Robin usually like Is Robin usually like he is in front of like when he gets in front of the camera with Teen Titans bitches, or am I like?
So that I feel like that is just their rendition of Jason Todd.
Okay.
Where, like, the rendition of Jason Todd that they've been doing is they've beautifully mastered because Jason Todd from the comics is ruthless. And it's kind of like there's a line where it's like, for example, from season 1 where they're going against like the cops come and he's just beating the shit out of cops. And he crosses that line that Batman never crosses, where it's like, I'm A, going to beat up cops. 2, I'm going to beat you up pretty bad. Like, I'm going to leave a mark and pretty much leave you for dead, almost. So they master that, but it's like, it's just this cocky attitude that he had. Like in season 1, it was him and Dick Grayson and their kind of back and forth where he was like, so you like the new suit? Yeah, got some renditions to it. Had to upgrade the old one, man. It was out of style. Like, it's just like kind of that cocky nature that they're going with. And I wonder if they're going to lead that into, because Dave and I talked about it too, a possible, like, are they going to do Red Hood stuff in Titans? Are they going to plant those seeds and maybe do their own season of that?
I'm wondering if they are, because isn't Jason Todd now in a wheelchair
well,
in this?
In this, he is... I'm trying to think back. I got to rewatch season 1.
Because I saw one scene where it looks like it's Jason Todd in the wheelchair.
I don't think that happened in season 1. I think we're expecting it to happen in season 2, where it's basically now we progress with the Red Hood storyline and we get that Red Hood compared to just the Robin. Because now we're introduced. Like, that's the thing. You're not going to introduce Batman and not do anything with Red Hood. Because, yes, we've got the Batman and Dick kind of got to get through their situation.
Yeah.
But also there's Jason Todd and Bruce go through their own thing as well. The only thing is there's no Joker, so how the hell are they going to do it? Like, what accident is going to happen where basically Jason Todd dies?
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering if they're going to, from the wheelchair thing and just from what we're getting right now, that they're gonna not do like the necessarily a death of Jason Todd and just like
he gets hurt.
He gets hurt like physically impaired supposedly, where he's in the wheelchair, but he's the one like he's framing Bruce because he blames him for what happened. Like that's why like there's the cop killings and stuff like that.
And that's the thing where I'm not saying I would hate it, because in this conversation like this is a flipped conversation than what we're used to. Like, when we get to the Marvel discussions, like, we're in Johnny's wheelhouse. Like, DC, this is my playground. This is where we're playing. So, like, I'm a little bit, with me compared to you, like, I feel like if they take liberties, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the liberties that they take, you might not take them as harshly as I do.
No, I probably wouldn't.
Where you'll probably be like, unless it's something over ludicrous, even BVS, I don't think you're as harsh on as I am.
Not as you are, but
like
I know it's a bad movie.
Like, you know it's a bad movie, but you're like, I really don't like, I don't hate it like Ricky does.
No, I didn't get as infuriated as when walking out of theater as you did.
Yeah, whereas I throw out, like, I'm trying to think Marvel, Ang Lee Hulk.
That was bad.
What else? What's the one that you really, really hate? I'm trying to think.
Ang Lee's Hulk?
No, there's not Ang Lee's Hulk. There's another Marvel movie that I bring it up just to like spite you, I think. Not Thor: The Dark World.
You hate that one.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like, and let's not do like I hate it. It's most Marvel fans would rate Thor: The Dark World as the lowest MCU movie.
Make an argument for Iron Man 3 though.
You could make an argument, but the consensus is that Thor: The Dark World.
I hated the Mandarin thing. That might be what you're thinking of.
Yes.
You bring that up because that kind of irked me. Have you yet watched that one shot?
Hail to the Chief, yeah.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know for the longest time you did.
I didn't, because I was not in the extras. Here's the thing I want to ask you. So this is an article. The article that I have that we're looking at is from superherohype.com.
Okay.
And it's basically Anna Diop, who plays Starfire, shared an Instagram post of her new costume. And I wanted to hit this in this. How many times can Ricky say this?
But with this, and with that.
She dropped an Instagram post where it was a video of her through the kind of like camera lens per se. And it said, "We did it, InstaFam. 200K, heart, all the love, kiss." And it was a video of her in the new, like, we don't get a great look of it, but we get enough of a look to see what her new costume is going to be for season 2. And it looks like her new costume going more towards the leather style. And I'm going to put the article down below so you guys can see the Instagram post too as well, and give it a heart or a like if you're on Instagram. I'm currently not, but it's one thing that I am every day I think about, should I get an Instagram? But basically it's the more like leather pants. Is it not in there for you?
No. Why couldn't we get that hair from the beginning?
The hair, she's got
That's all I asked.
The gold necklace with the kind of the green circles on it, and then kind of like the crop top suit.
Yeah, why couldn't we just get that from the beginning?
We got to build towards
I mean,
it,
I get the costume building up to that. Why couldn't we just get that hair from the beginning at least? That's all I asked. I had no problem with anything else other than her hair.
I mean, after
well, I mean, I guess I made fun of the costume a little bit, but we all did.
And that was the thing. Coming into season 1, and even during season 1, ragged on the costume. But I mean, looking back, I understand why they did what they did, because Starfire to me is anyone else you can introduce very easily, where it's like Robin, he's Batman's sidekick. Okay, Beast Boy, he's like, the way they did it was they linked him to Doom Patrol, in a sense. But like, you could say genetically enhanced in a lab, or his was genetically enhanced basically in general. Like something was put into the body to then change him green, and that's how his powers became.
You go from the cartoons because Miss Martian, but
which we're gonna get to that. That's a spoiler apparently that I missed, that I want to ask you about. But then Ravens is interesting, and that's why I feel like they needed a full season to kind of introduce that kind of a story. Where Starfire is, how do you introduce her? Because she is the only Titan that is coming from outer space, except now we've get Superboy, who I believe he's genetically modified
created in a lab.
So he's not from outer space.
He's like
but
Superman's DNA.
Yeah. But like Starfire, it's how do you introduce it? And I think they did a pretty good job with it. I didn't hate it, where it's like, okay, she's in with the Russian like mob, obviously, to try to find information about Raven. And obviously she had to look like that to kind of fit in, kind of like an agent undercover, where I almost feel like the costume we see here in this Instagram post is, all right, the Titans are coming together, because even we get the Raven Dick Grayson kind of back and forth, where Raven kind of goes, so what are we, Titans 2.0? And Dick goes, yeah, new Titans new generation, which is just a funny kind of throwaway line. That's where I'm kind of thinking like, okay, Titans become their own. Starfire now becomes her own. The only thing I know we're not going to get, and it pains me, is I doubt we're going to get the same personality. Obviously, we're not going to get the same personality that Starfire was in the original series, because this is not the same Starfire. This isn't bubbly Starfire, who's kind of a little bit of a ditz, but it's more of like, it's not ditzy, it's more of naivety in a way of like, ooh, what is this ice cream you speak of? Like that
not
kind of a thing.
knowing Earth things very well.
Yeah, not knowing Earth things, but also being like that almost childlike with it. Where this Starfire just doesn't have that personality. The thing I want to ask you that I want to lead into is, so we have a shot of a team, and you mentioned it watching the trailer. You're like, oh, Hawk and Dove. So it's Hawk and Dove, Robin's in the back, Dick Grayson Robin in the back. Then on the left side, it is Aqualad and Donna Troy. What many people are thinking is that this is going to be I want to say flashback, where that's where we get the line from Raven and we get the line from Raven to Dick where it's like, oh, what are we, Titans 2.0? Then you also get the line from Bruce at the beginning where he mentions new friends. To where, with me, I kind of thought where it's like, okay, so by him saying that, Robin's done this before.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be strictly, hey, the Titans we saw in season 1 is going to be present day, and that version of Hawk, Dove, Aqualad, Donna Troy, and Robin are going to be flashbacks that they go back to? And they kind of show Robin back in the day to kind of understand that relationship between him and Bruce.
Could be.
And maybe why it went south. Do you think that's where they will go? And should they do that with that lineup?
That could be where they go. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Honestly, it would help to build up, like you said, the relationship and whatnot between them, like the storyline between what's going on between the two of them. It would be kind of cool to throw the, like, though there's enough like scenes like thrown in there to where it's like maybe it's like a reprisal as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like they get called back in because like, hey, shit's really going south.
And that's the only thing where I'm iffy about it, where I'm just, the thing I don't, because we introduced Donna Troy last season, and she mentioned that was where, so in the season, Dick kind of takes a little, I'm going to use the word siesta again, where it's basically a break from what he's doing, and he's also trying to find Raven. And he meets up with Donna Troy, who they flash back, her and him have the kind of sidekick relationship, because obviously during that time he was Robin for Batman. Donna Troy was Wonder Woman's sidekick. So they had that relationship and they showed back to it. When it comes to Aqualad and them introducing him, because they've got to introduce Superboy as well, which is camera time. Where me personally, I don't have enough to say about Superboy. It looks like Superboy. It's got the black shirt, the Superman S. We got Crypto in it, where he picks up, he goes, Crypto, the dog barks.
Yeah.
But with Aqualad, he's the one where I'm like, I kind of feel like if they just use that Titans lineup as a flashback and don't bring in Donna Troy and Aqualad, not saying that they should be in the Titans, but if they don't work with them in present day, I might be a little bit bummed out. I'm not going to say upset, but a little bit bummed out that Aqualad is just a flashback guy.
Yeah, you might kind of want to see him in action. Because it looks like you get Donna Troy in action.
Yes.
Because you see her helping Starfire.
Yes, you see the lasso of truth come in and kind of pull her away. And I'm glad you bring up that image, because according to CBR, and I'm getting this from Screen Rant, as suggested by CBR, the frozen image, which I'm actually going to put up on our screen, courtesy of DC, where it says here, the frozen image that you guys can see now on the YouTube page. Sorry, audio listeners. You can go over to the youtube.com / or youtube.com, basically Mosville Podcast Nerd. The frozen image of this adversary shows what appears to be red hair, green skin, and a blue outfit, all of which point to one possibility: Miss Martian. A relatively recent addition to DC canon with a 2006 debut. Miss Martian is the junior version of Martian Manhunter and has been a member of the Teen Titans in the DC comic books. The heroine has been animated in Young Justice and is played by Sharon Leal in Supergirl. Going by the alias Megan Morse, Miss Martian is a somewhat sensitive visitor from Mars and is actually a white Martian, only appearing green to fit in with Earth's other Martian heroes, which, by the way, her being a white Martian is like, when I saw it in Young Justice, and obviously animated, so they're able to do different things, and the white Martians are more, I want to say, scary. I'll keep it basic, scary looking compared to the green Martians. Like, fucking badass.
Less humanoid, for sure.
Here's the thing I think, though. Like, with this still, is this Miss Martian, or is that just... Is it just hey, there's a blur. It's not green skin. That's just Starfire.
It could just be, that's like something with Starfire. Could be, you said, what was the description?
So, like, it is red hair, green skin, blue suit, which all lead to the Manhunter. The Manhunter and Miss Martian.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, too. You say, like, it's hard to tell what color the skin is, to be honest, in this, because it's a blurred vision. The only other thing I can think is, like, half that description, like a bluish suit and red hair.
Yeah.
Well, no, her hair wasn't red, though. I was going to say Starfire's sister.
Okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But now that you bring up the red, if it's red hair, that's a no.
Yeah, and here's the only reason why I am personally not buying. I could totally be wrong, but I'm not buying that it's Miss Martian. The only reason I say that, and I'm going to try to, you know what? Like, and it's interesting to how they cut the trailer too, because now I'm looking at it, how it's cut in the trailer, because literally the scene before, you know what? I'm taking it back. I'm taking back what I said. Because when you see it cut, and yet again, I don't know if these happen back to back or if it's them basically MCUing us, I'll say. Where remember Infinity War, we all thought, oh, the Hulk is going to be in the scene, and then he wasn't. They basically CGI'd a Hulk to throw us off the trailer. The first frame is you see Donna Troy on a street behind Starfire, and Starfire's gearing back like she's going to punch something. And then the next thing we see is whatever the lasso pulling something, and then the punch. So there's part of me now that seeing this, I would find it hard to believe that these aren't back to back, kind of like it's one scene and it's just like that's how the cut's going to be in the series. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're tricking us in that, where it's like, oh, the one where we see Starfire gearing back, oh, you thought it was to punch that? Oh, no, this was something totally different. So I'm not going to say she's not in it, like I once said. Obviously, rewatching it in the trailer compared to the still are two different things. My one criticism with it, if it is Miss Martian, is, and I'll ask you what you think about this. Is it adding too much? Is it trying to introduce too much? Because you're introducing Aqualad, you're introducing Miss Martian, you're introducing Superboy. We're getting Deathstroke for the first time. He's going to need, obviously, some screen time to be basically the main baddie of this team. If Miss Martian is added into this, you also have Ravager, too, who, daughter of Deathstroke, is going to be there on the evil side of things. Plus, the whole thing with Jason Todd and Bruce and Dick Grayson and Bruce and everyone hoping that we get the Nightwing costume by the end of this. That Dick Grayson goes, well, you know what? The Robin mantle is being passed on. I am now officially Nightwing, and that's the version of Robin we get, or the version of Dick we get moving forward. I'll ask you, if Miss Martian is in Titan Season 2, is that adding too much to the cooking pot to where it could potentially be like you know what, you added way too much to where it was hard to introduce everything in this season?
Not necessarily. It especially depends on how much Aqualad's actually in there. Just because, I mean, there's only like 2 snippets where he's actually in this. And those could be flashbacks for all we know. The 5 of them walking forward, and there's just one of him kind of standing there talking to someone.
So you're saying so what you're saying is basically, hey, Ricky, you said you'd be disappointed if Aqualad was just a flashback. But hey, if he's just a flashback, we don't have to introduce him. He is complementary to the Robin Batman, I'll say the Dick Batman storyline, and that frees up time for us to dive into Miss Martian.
Yeah, that, and it also throws him to say, hey, he is in the universe, though.
Yeah, which obviously it's like, hey, he was in the OG Titans. We'll call them OG Titans. And then I like Titans New Generation just after Dick threw that one out. Last thing I want to ask you, and this is prediction time for Titans Season 2. And don't worry, Johnny, you didn't have to see Titans Season 1 to make this prediction. By the end of Titans Season 2, will Dick Grayson be in the Nightwing uniform?
Let's all hope so.
You're hoping for it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all hoping for it. Yeah. I just don't like. I don't know if they do it because I feel like they don't want to rush into it. Mm-hmm. But like after Titan Season 2, it's like, how long do you go? Because there's already a version of like if they didn't have Jason Todd in this, I would say no for sure. But like you have Jason Todd.
So he's sort of on a hiatus right now.
Who?
Dick Grayson.
Where it's
from like superheroing.
Yeah, where he's in Season 1, Detective, Detroit, and he does the superhero stuff on the side. Yeah. But it's more of like one scene he went after a child pedophile. And basically went after a girl's father because he was abusive. So it's more of a here and there,
but he doesn't do it regularly.
He does it regularly enough to where he is a vigilante in Detroit. Okay. But then the Raven storyline picks up, and it's like...
I'm talking about by the end of it.
Yeah, by the end of it, he's Titans. He's Titans. Like in the Titans group.
Maybe we'll be like a mantle hand down, and like, you know what? I need a new... Maybe after talking to Bruce, like, I need a different persona. Yeah. Screw it. I'm switching, like maybe not last episode, but like last arc of an episode,
so we can get a full episode of him in the suit.
Like his new right before final battle, his new get up.
God, I hope we get Nightwing. I hope we get it. I feel like it's leading there, and like I said, if Jason Todd wasn't in it, I would say no. But you have Jason Todd, and I know that they're kind of overlapping, but it's the story that they chose to go with Dick Grayson. But let us know what you guys think. What do you expect from Season 2? How pumped are you for it? What do you like? What don't you like? Everything down below in that comment section. And Johnny, let's move in. The next thing we're talking about, we're moving away from DC into the Spider-Verse. I'm going to say the Venom-verse. That's what people online.
That's what so far is.
I've been seeing dubbed it. But before we get into Venom 2 news and what we could expect, make sure to rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Even if you're on YouTube, I know you guys got it. I know that you have an Apple account that you've had for years. Every 5-star rating and review really helps us. Yeah, we get it, Johnny. You're not an Apple guy. But for the Apple folks out there, every 5-star, every review really, really does help us. And I saw one of the other podcasts that I listened to. I'll give them a shout out. League of Geeks. They posted on Facebook of a review. It was a 1-star review they got. And they're like, hey, look at 5. Oh, wait, that says a 1-star review. Well, every 5-star review helps us out. So basically making fun, that's the kind of humor I like. The self-deprecating humor of hey, I'm going to make fun of myself. You're not bringing me down kind of a thing. But let's move into Venomverse news, Spider-Verse news, as well as Venom 2 gets its director, Johnny. So this will be kind of a 2-part conversation. First, talking and reacting to Andy Serkis, who you may know from Planet of the Apes. Nope. You may also know him from Lord of the Rings as Gollum. You may also know him from Black Panther as Ulysses Claw. Is there is there something that you're like? Gollum is usually the thing that people go, yes, okay, that's the thing.
I mean those are the main.
Are you saying nope just to be an asshole? Or
I'm saying nope to be an asshole.
I thought there was one role
such
where
obvious things.
I'm is there one role that I'm missing that Johnny's yes, that is where I know him. That's why I threw in the MCU.
No. Those are the biggest ones I would say. Are those 3. So because he does a shit ton of the mocap stuff.
And that's usually that's what I want to start with. So Andy Serkis directing Venom 2, where this is going to be his first major, this is him getting his foot into the directing door, because if you look at his IMDb, this is now his 4th thing for directing. all the other ones happened 2017, 2018. Breathe, a TV movie called The Ruins of Empire, and Mowgli Legend of the Jungle, which I see on Netflix, but then I never watch because I'm like, I don't know. It kind of looks like a Jungle Book knockoff. So this is his first kind of step into the major movie, the silver screen, first big directing project. He had beaten out, there were names, so Serkis was a part of a short list of potential directors. I'm getting this from superherohype.com that included Bumblebee's Travis Knight, Serkis's Rise of the Planet of the Apes collaborator, Rupert Watt. Although Serkis is primarily known for his acting work and mocap performances, he's dabbled behind the camera as well. He made Future's directorial debut in 2017 with Breathe, also helmed, like I said, Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, which arrived on Netflix last year. So just with that announcement that Andy Serkis is directing Venom 2, what are your thoughts? Because big name, really knows his stuff when it comes to mocap, but this is pretty much not his first directorial debut, but this is
his first big one.
This is him stepping from the minor leagues into the major leagues.
Yeah, so I know definitely he's gonna have like any of the mocap. There's gonna be a decent amount of mocap.
Yeah, especially with Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
like there was in the first
Tom
one.
Hardy and
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson for Carnage.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna let you get there yourself.
Thank you.
I was like, you know what?
You know these names.
I'm like, I helped him with Woody Harrelson. He can get to Carnage.
It's like you know these names.
Yep.
Don't try. don't try and act like you don't.
I'll be like the dad that's like, don't worry, let him struggle. He'll get there. He'll get there.
He'll figure it out. Yeah, no. So I don't know how his directing necessarily will be. I know that will help immensely, though.
Yeah.
And with all the movies he's been in, I can say he's got to have some knowledge of how to direct it. So as long as he just kind of follows the storyline.
Yeah. And that, to me, is like the biggest thing I saw when they made this move was it's one of those things where you kind of think like, okay, even if, and I'm saying if, and when I throw out this word, I don't want to throw it out. I don't even want to say it out of my mouth because it seems disrespectful to Andy Serkis. But like, even if he's a novice in some of the directing parts, what he's gonna bring with his knowledge of motion capture is gonna help.
Itself.
Yeah, it's gonna help this tremendously.
Like
immensely, I should say.
Tremendously.
Yeah, tremendously.
It's better than
tremendous and immensely together.
What I would love to see is just like him take his character of like Ulysses Claw with his just all his mocap knowledge and just like throw that into Venom because you remember how like Ulysses Claw was both in Age of Ultron and Black Panther, excuse me. Kind of goofy but serious when need to be type thing. And I would love to see that in the Venom versus Carnage. But then he also has that very serious side he can pull off because he played Snoke.
And he played Caesar.
And he played Gollum, which again is the back and forth.
He was Snoke?
Yeah, I looked it up.
No way was he Snoke.
Where is it at?
Did he do the capture for Snoke?
He may have just done the mocap for Snoke. It just says, where the hell is it? I know it's in here.
What, IMDb?
Yeah, I have IMDb up. I'm just trying to find where it was. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Supreme Leader Snoke.
Yeah,
and Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Snoke. He may have. For all we know, he voiced it.
Yeah, he voiced it. Like, if it was mocapture, it would have just said mocapture.
Yeah.
So damn,
he did Snoke.
Like, I totally forgot.
He has a range.
Snoke. He does, and that's the thing of
because I think he did the voice for Caesar too.
He did everything for Caesar.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got that very serious side, but you used to look at Ulysses Claw. He's got a good range.
Which, by the way, this is a side kind of.
So he's gonna have like the mocapping Taika Waititi on our hands as well.
This is a side thing that I'm gonna throw out there.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a really cool YouTube video about mocapture, Google the behind the scenes with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Doing
Smaug.
Smaug.
Have you ever seen that?
Smaug, yeah.
Like him actually, he came in. I know this
he's got on all fours and he's crawling around.
I know this is off the discussion of Serkis, and we'll get back to Venom in a hot second. But like I watched that because like Andy Serkis then drove me. No, it was Andy Serkis. Then I looked at the Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange news. Then it drew me into like Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug. And like, first off, not only him just in a wide open room doing all the Smaug stuff, when they actually recorded his lines for Smaug, the recording guys had to come up with like so on the recording table, they had to put like a mat that wasn't going to like wool that wasn't going to make noise because basically Benedict was going to do his thing on that table. Like, and they had to come up with like a rig of like several different mics so he could turn this way. And
so he can
like,
get.
I can't hear. Like, you couldn't hear me just now.
Yeah, so
they would have had a mic behind him to pick him up.
Yeah,
still.
that way they can just let him do his thing and like get into character.
And it's so cool. And that's the thing with like Andy Serkis. It's just so cool watching these guys in their element do their thing because it's like you're not like, and this is Tom Hardy coming in, and this is why I think he's perfect for the Venom character, is they kind of just, with these guys, you can just let them do their own thing. And like, you're not playing a human. So like the facial expressions that you need to do and kind of like, you really have to go 110% into it. It's kind of like what we see with Mark Hamill with his old recordings of Batman the Animated Series, where like they'd even say, like Kevin Conroy would say, yeah, all of us would be like on our stools, like going to record, and it's like Mark Hamill would be there standing up, getting into it, like moving with the character. And that's what obviously you have to do with this mocap stuff. And I think Andy Serkis is going to be like, even if there's stuff in the directing part that kind of dip a little bit, and by dip, I don't mean it's going to be a bad movie, I don't think.
It's just not going to be like when you bring in a really well-known like Feige or someone like that. You're not going to get that necessarily. Which I know that's a real big name.
Which I find funny. Which I was watching a video on YouTube, I think it was a Screen Rant video about the X-Men, where basically they went on a little side rant about like, yeah, you know, we totally talk up Kevin Feige, but it's like, Kevin Feige hasn't always been that great. Where I think I'm going to start doing the Kevin Feige look, by the way.
Yeah.
Once I get like a little, like, I'm not saying super in shape. Once I get a little bit more in shape, the bald head ball cap. Because I loved my ball caps when I was in college and high school. Like, why not, man? Like Kevin Feige's pulling. Could you imagine me pulling off the jeans? Well, not the. I was gonna say jeans and like the suit coat that he wears, like the black T-shirt, jeans, suit coat, and then a ball cap.
Do it.
Just an X-Men ball cap, a Batman ball cap.
Do it.
I was just like, you know, if Kevin Feige can pull it off, I can pull it off too. It was just a side rant you got me on when you said Kevin Feige. But let's segue into what we're possibly going to see with Venom 2. Because we know Carnage is going to be the villain. We know that it's going to be the Lethal Protector storyline. So in the article that announced Andy Serkis on Superhero Hype, it said it also looks as though Serkis has already started doing research for the sequel. The filmmaker just confirmed the new gig via his own Instagram page. The image shows Serkis holding a copy of Venom Lethal Protector number 6, the final installment in the 1993 miniseries. And we know for sure that storyline, the Lethal Protector storyline, is what they used as a base for the first Venom movie. Like, it was Lethal Protector. You and I talked about it with all the other symbiotes. And they all come to take on and basically fight Tom Hardy. We also have, in a different Superhero Hype article, actual words out of the mouth of Andy Serkis, where it says, the first Venom didn't fare well with critics when it hit theaters last October. However, Serkis is confident that the next installment will be something special. Writer Kelly Marcel is still finalizing the movie's screenplay, which apparently features extra contributions from Tom Hardy himself. It is a fantastic franchise, and I'm honored to be asked to direct it, said Serkis. It feels like a very contemporary story, and I think hopefully that it's going to be an extraordinary piece of cinema. I've known Tom for years and admired him as an actor and a producer, added Serkis, and we've wanted to work together for years. I can't tell you any ideas right now. I'm in the beginning stages, but I have some very clear ideas about what I want to see visually and how we can take the characters to another dimension, Serkis commented. So, Johnny, this is where we kind of open up our theorizing hats and kind of our fun hats, is Venom 2. Now that we got the news part of it out of the way, Serkis directing, our reactions to it, what do you want to see from this movie now that we know it's an Andy Serkis directed movie?
Venom fight Carnage.
Well,
Just wanted to be vague. Just to see your reaction, honestly.
Johnny, is this thing on? I just want to see Venom fight Carnage. And then just back away. But what because the thing, like...
Mic drop.
Because the Lethal Protector storyline, we saw, and I'm taking this from an article, Screen Rant article, because they did one about Carnage, the main villain. How could they introduce it? And it says, in the comics, Eddie and Cletus are prison cellmates, and the Venom symbiote leaves a bit of itself behind when Eddie and Venom break out of it. This leads to a small amount of the symbiote latching onto Cletus and calling himself its new host, transforming him into Carnage. Filled with more power than he's ever had before, Cassidy uses his new abilities for murder and mass destruction until Venom has to stop him. For Venom 2, this would be a reasonably easy storyline to adapt and stick with the continuity of the first film. Instead of sending Eddie to prison, the sequel could pick up with him visiting Cassidy once again in prison. It could be revealed that Eddie's piece on Cletus is substantial and requires multiple interviews between the two. But the Venom symbiote could also be sick during the film, leading it to leave a part of itself behind during one of these sessions. This would lead to Cassidy bonding with the symbiote. Remember that? Mm-hmm. The symbiote.
It's the symbiote.
And breaking out of prison, while leaving Eddie to question if the symbiote is trying to betray him. Carnage could be brought into Venom 2's story in several different ways, but it wouldn't be too surprising if the movie ultimately follows the comics' original story. Do you think they deviate from it? Do you think they send Eddie to prison where he's in prison? Do you think it's the interview thing? What's your kind of thought with the story?
I'll go off of the interview thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe like, I wouldn't say necessarily he's sick, Venom, but like because he took substantial damage.
He's just weaker.
He's weaker.
The symbiote is weaker.
Yeah. So like maybe a little piece of him falls off. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how that works necessarily if it becomes like its own symbiote.
I mean,
if like a piece of him were to fall off,
it would depend. Like the way I would see it is, if it just falls off, it wouldn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. But if a part latches onto a new host, then that is a possibility of it.
That's what I'm saying though. Yeah. Like, do you think it like if a piece of like Venom himself falls off of Eddie, and like, well, shit. Gotta survive, get to like Cassidy.
Yeah. And then once it latches, it becomes its own,
Like, so it would become its own.
Because it would link with Cassidy's personality. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, that's how it becomes Carnage. That's what I would think, how they would play it. For me, what I want to see mostly, and this is something that Sony played with a little bit with Venom 1, where... originally, they were going to have Venom be rated R. And if you look back and watch the Venom movie, most of the tone with Tom Hardy was shot when they were going to have it be rated R. When they were like, this is a rated R film, most of his stuff was shot in that. It's everyone else. Like, the thing that I saw from, I'm going to quote him, Charlie from the Emergency Awesome YouTube channel, because he does a great job. He mentioned that one of the doctors, I think it's the doctor that helped Hardy, or helped, what's his name, Brock, get into the facility. Even her tone, it's like her tone is where it was because that scene was shot when it was rated R. And then they added other things to be like, no. We're going to make it PG-13. I almost feel like Sony could use Deadpool 2 basically, as its testing ground. Where, hey,
Venom 2?
Yeah.
You said Deadpool.
Yeah, I know. Sony could use Deadpool 2 as the test. And you give me that weird look. Let me explain.
Yeah.
So when was Deadpool 2 rated R or PG-13?
R.
Did it come out with a PG-13 version?
Yes.
I think Sony, Deadpool showed, and this is like what Deadpool did for the comic book world that'll be interesting to see. I think what Deadpool 2 showed is you can, come out with two versions of the same movie, have one be for the PG-13 crowd, one be for the rated R crowd, have it be marginally different, where Once Upon a Deadpool did have the Fred Savage stuff in it that was very different than Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But they were able to market that.
Yeah.
I would love to see Venom 2 come out originally rated R, and then basically, if they wanted to, do something like Deadpool this is where he becomes his own thing, where you have so much to work on with Ryan Reynolds and the personality of him and Deadpool as the character, to come up with a PG-13 version and have it be unique, although it's the same movie. I think you could almost do the same thing with Venom 2, where it's like, hey, the original's rated R, but we also will come out later with a PG-13 version if they want to.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to worry, though, about the PG-13 version, because even if they come out with a rated R version, we will come. The only thing they're alienating is possibly the kids, but let's be honest, Venom was a scary character anyways, so I don't know how many kids are.
How do you do Carnage without being rated R anyways?
Exactly.
How do you do them right?
Exactly.
How do you do them justice without making rated R?
When the Sam Raimis were out, Dave and I would go see those movies, and one of the things we would always say is, God, I can't wait till we live in a day where we can see Carnage in a Spider-Man movie, basically. And one of the old things we'd always say is, but I don't want it done unless it's rated R, because you can't do Carnage unless it's rated R. Does it have to be rated R then in your mind? Are we setting it up to where it's like, if it's not rated R, I'm going to question this movie?
I would most definitely prefer it to be rated R, because then you can, like we saw with Deadpool, like we saw with Logan, you can do the character justice.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing too is Logan's
one where you can kind of flip back and forth, like the character himself, but...
Yeah, but Logan was interesting to the fact of... I almost put that in its own category, because that was a send-off.
Yeah.
Where it was like, fuck it, we're doing it R, because this is the last Wolverine movie we're going to do, and this is a send-off to the character.
I mean, let's put it this way. Could you have done Logan... Like, hey, could you have done a Logan movie... and had a PG-13, would it have had the same impact? No. And that would be Carnage. Will he have the same impact? No.
No, he wouldn't have.
Where
or he wouldn't, I should
Deadpool, he still could, because he still could. Look at Detective Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds was at PG-13. He was still Ryan Reynolds. He's still funny as hell.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing of, like, I just wonder is, that's my biggest question for this movie is... It's not Andy Serkis and what he brings to the directorial chair. it's not the story that they're going to use. It's not Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, because I know there were some people that were like, he didn't rub me the right way. I liked him as Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised going to see Venom. Like, I thought that Venom, I went into that movie with low expectations on purpose because I didn't want to be disappointed. But I thought it was going to be worse than it was. And the thing that's unique about the first Venom movie is, like, the article I read that said critics didn't like it. Yeah, but the audience did. The audience loved that movie.
That's why I don't listen to critic reviews.
Yeah, and that's where and I don't mean we as like me and you. I mean as like, and this is side conversation yet again, but it's important. Mm-hmm. This is why we're in the age of most people our age and younger, or even so around our age and younger, are not going to listen to Joe Schmo who writes for the Detroit paper or Ebert and Roper anymore. They come to us. They come to the influencer, and I hate that word, but it's true. They come to the YouTuber, the podcaster that they trust.
Yeah.
That they have put, like, hey, they're going to, like, for example, us. I hope people come to us and say, hey, you know what? Johnny may really like the movie and not be critical of it. Ricky might be overcritical of it and more critical than Johnny. But the bottom line is they're going to shoot from the hip, and they're going to tell you like it is. And they're going to say, hey, although I saw it this way, maybe it doesn't rub you the right way. Like, each person's going to come to their own, and that's where we live in now, to where, like, I see the critics and I go, let me see the movie for myself.
Yeah.
But, like, looking at Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter for Venom 1, 29%. Do you want to take a guess at what the audience score, the fan score was?
84.
Close. You just overshot it. Do you want a second guess, or do you want me to tell you?
82.
Closer. You just overshot it.
80.
81.
81. God
81.
damn it.
So 81%. Whereas
that's not a bad guess on my part.
Whereas 29% for the critics. But also, we throw it out there every time. Johnny, it's the game we love to play. What movie got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes
Paddington
from
2.
the critics, and from the fans, it got an 88. So that's a perfect example.
Paddington 2?
Got an 88 from fans, but 100 from critics.
Yeah.
So just an example, Paddington 2 is a great movie according to the critics.
It is #1 movie. Best movie.
Which is funny. It could be a good movie. I didn't see it.
I
remember
either.
I wanted to, and Dave said, no, you're crazy. Just like he said we were crazy when we said we wanted to see Dora, which we would have if you weren't busy this weekend.
Yeah.
Like he said, we were crazy for that.
Hell, our friend Ron wanted to see it too.
He did. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I'm excited to see what Andy Serkis can do for this movie.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing will be how him and Hardy work together. I don't think it's going to be a problem. What Serkis is going to bring in mocap-wise, and Tom Hardy just in general, because the way they let him work is they let him... The way I always... or have seen it described online and such, is when it comes to the Venom movies, Tom Hardy has the same freedom that RDJ had in the Marvel movies, where anything Tony Stark, they just let Robert Downey do his thing, and it was like, cool. That's
Here's
gravy.
your guidelines. Do what you need to do.
And they kind of, with Venom, they treat Tom Hardy the same way, where it's like, hey, here's what we're looking for. All right, we're gonna let you go to work here, and I can't wait to see Andy Serkis coming in, how he kind of takes this product we have with the mocap of Tom Hardy and tweaks it slightly to where we get an even better version of Tom Hardy, a better version of Eddie Brock, a better version of Venom that we didn't get the first time in it, and I can't wait for it. But let us know, obviously, what you guys think down below. What do you think of Andy Serkis coming in? What do you think of Venom 2? What do you expect from Venom 2? What do you want to see? What do you don't want to see? Let us know down below. And Johnny, let's move on into our last discussion. and this is kind of a fun one. Little MCU rumors going abound as I saw this from Comic Book. Yeah, a little gassy over there. Usually I'm the gassy one. I know. I'm usually
You're
the
just
gassy
doing it
one.
behind the scenes. That's all.
I know. Farting in the corner. Farting in the fart corner is what I like to do.
Yeah.
It's a stinky fart corner
Yeah,
where our camera is.
you guys all know it stays there.
Yeah, it stays there in this nicely ventilated studio that we have.
Nicely ventilated.
By that I mean it's not ventilated
There
at
is
all.
not a single opening window.
And it stanks in here when you get especially after live streams like the draft where it's 6-hour live streams. Yeah, it smells like stank in here. So patreon.com/mostvaluable-podcast is how you help support us get a new studio so that Johnny doesn't die via the smell of Ricky's farts. But we are talking
it's okay.
MCU.
Put a gas mask on between takes.
MCU rumors today as comicbook.com has a little bit about a possible actor who we could be seeing in the MCU. So this was all via Twitter. So Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld wants to see Fast and the Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, just basically Hobbs and Shaw, star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as cybernetically enhanced mercenary Garrison Kane in the MCU. And Johnson wants a meeting with the franchise star Ryan Reynolds. There was a little bit of back and forth on Twitter on Twitter and Instagram, which first off, you had Liefeld wrote on Instagram, he said, "Dearest at The Rock, based on reports of outstanding chemistry between you and a familiar friend, I believe the next logical step is for you to join the Marvel Universe as Garrison Kane in a future Deadpool installment." Then The Rock took to Twitter, as Liefeld also posted this on Twitter as well. The Rock quoted it on Twitter and said, "Dearest Rob, thank you, amigo. It's true. In At Hobbs and Shaw, I have insanely outstanding chemistry with our familiar friend. Since you created the characters, how does one Garrison Kane get alone?" I think he meant along. "Get alone with one skull emoji guy swimming?" ? Which you can all assume what he means by skull guy swimming, Mr. Dead.
Skull swimming.
Mr. Skull Swimming. Mr.
Captain Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool.
Just Deadpool.
So the thing that's interesting about this, and I got to pull it up for sure so that I'm not spewing fake news here on the podcast.
It's fake news.
Okay, that was not it. I believe there's a connection between, let's see, Drew Leach or Leitch. Yeah, that was it. So let's see, stunts, don't want that. Director, want that. Yes, that was it. So the connection between them is, so Rob Liefeld, like I said, creator of Deadpool, wants to see it happen. So not only do The Rock and Ryan Reynolds have outstanding chemistry, which if you haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw, go see it just for that alone. Brick in the chest. But basically, number two is, so I'm going to say this name wrong, so bear with me. David Leitch, Leitch, Leitch is the last name. He directed Hobbs and Shaw. Do you know which other film he has also directed, Johnny? Deadpool 2.
Did he really?
So the director of Deadpool 2 worked with Ryan Reynolds, directed Hobbs and Shaw, and worked with both Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. My question before we get into the Garrison Kane part of this, my question to you is, will we ever see The Rock in one way or another in the MCU? Because we're definitely going to see him in a DC movie as he is Black Adam.
Yes. I am really hoping to. I think it would be awesome. I mean, I'm not opposed to the Garrison Kane, but the one I was hoping...
Which we'll get into Garrison Kane, but who were you hoping
The one I was
for?
hoping for a while, but I can also see this one working out, was having our own Samoan water-based hero.
Namor?
Yeah.
The Rock is Namor?
I heard talks about that beforehand.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about that is Namor's not a buff guy.
That's true. He's not
Namor's a thin guy.
He's like not the Rock big. So.
Yeah, that's one where it's like
until they brought this one up, that's where I wanted to see him in the MCU.
With the Namor stuff, even if Garrison Kane wasn't brought up, I would almost look at that and go, but Namor's a thinner guy.
I just want our own Samoan.
I know.
No, but I'm
kind of like how I almost said kind of like how we have one of ours, but it's a Momoan, Jason Momoa on the DCEU side. Is Jason Momoa Samoan?
I don't know what he is.
I don't know. I'll look it up while you talk. But
are
we gonna even see The Rock in the MCU?
It would be cool to see him as Garrison Kane because then I could see it fitting. Plus, like he said, directed Deadpool 2, directed Hobbs and Shaw, has great chemistry with Ryan Reynolds. Tell me that would not play in greatly for the next one, especially if they're having the villain be Garrison Kane.
So I'm looking here, and I got a little bit off. So Jason Momoa was born in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Okay, so he's Hawaiian. Well,
his father is native Hawaiian, and his mother is German, Irish, and Native American.
So he's actually Hawaiian.
Yes. So he's not Samoan. He's just Hawaiian.
Okay, I thought he was. I thought there was reference to him being, but
might have been. I'm looking at Wikipedia. If we're wrong, let us know because usually we are in some cases. And I don't know. I wish I had Jason Momoa on like speed dial so that I could like call him up on the podcast and be really cool and say, "Hey, Jason, one question: are you Samoan?" And basically have him live. But I'm not. I don't have those connections.
No, I still at first when I heard
Jason Momoa the Samoan, like I think it should rhyme.
Maybe
so
that's
work.
why I was thinking he was because his name sort of sounds like it too.
Momoa.
I didn't. Okay, well, anyways.
Back to the real thing we're talking about.
No, at first when I was hearing talks of The Rock being Namor, I'm like, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because that gives a new like kind of twist on, hey, what the Atlanteans of the MCU look like. They could be bigger like than a normal human. Adds into the strength and stuff like that. But, I mean, looking at Garrison Kane in comparison, at this point with the mixture of like having the chemistry with Ryan Reynolds, the chemistry with the director that they were talking about.
Yeah.
And if you look at Garrison Kane, basically like you can just take The Rock, put some green sleeves on him, and then just dress him up like that. I think it would work.
Yeah, and the thing that I kind of think also is story-wise, it fits near perfectly.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is if you don't know who Garrison Kane is, because I obviously had to look it up coming into this podcast, he's basically, I'm going to say a friend or an acquaintance of Cable. They work together.
Let's go acquaintance.
Basically, Cable fucks him over, and I'm paraphrasing here. Cable fucks him over, leaves him for dead without his legs and his arms, and kind of opens up, sling rings it basically. I know that's not what he uses, but boom, here's a big time portal. I'm going to jump through it, and leaves Garrison Kane left for dead. Kane is then found, given by Weapon X cybernetic arms and legs, and then he basically comes to kill Cable and get his revenge, which in the movies can work out perfectly because we just had Deadpool 2 that was wrapped around Cable and him being introduced into the storyline. And now
X-Force.
And now him and Deadpool are best friends. They're best friends, right? Best friends, Johnny.
We're not
best
friends.
Club. We're basically, I think, it would be hilarious if like they're together. It could even be like the beginning of Deadpool 3 is the end of Deadpool 2 almost, where they're just like standing next to each other at like the final scene, and then it just opens up a portal and Kane comes out just to fucking kill Cable, and Deadpool goes, "Who the fuck is that guy?" And then boom, it's a fight. Like, I mean, of course it wouldn't happen exactly like that. My ideas never are taken to the
You know what would be
silver
really
screen.
funny? So we just had Hobbs and Shaw where we had Ryan Reynolds' character saying that they're best friends.
Yeah.
Have him open up the portal like behind Ryan Reynolds and him walk out with like the cybernetic arms. Maybe even have like one of them, because there's different pictures. I was looking at Garrison Kane where like one where a knife comes out the side.
One has them like their Mega Man tubes.
It could be like maybe it's like a nanotech that like like Tony Stark's. It turns into whatever he thinks
Yes.
thinks it to be. You can even have the glowing eye, like make that like the like, hey, that's what triggers it. The eye glows and it does what he wants it to.
Yeah.
So that would be like, pour opens behind Deadpool. He walks out all like rocks style. And you just see back to back Deadpool going, that's like talking to their best friends. And all of a sudden you see Cable's like face like ghost white.
Cable knows what's coming.
Yeah, knows it's coming. Ryan Reynolds turns around and goes, oh, this is awkward.
Because they were just best friends in
Hobbs and
Shaw. Here's the only thing.
You gotta play into the fourth wall shit.
Here's the only thing, and this even comes into the Black Adam situation also. I feel like at this point, when I look at The Rock, and I look at his recent roles, and maybe I could be wrong, and we prove Ricky wrong here on the podcast right now, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with being
Prove
wrong.
Ricky wrong.
But if you look at his recent roles, Fast and the Furious, he was Hobbs. Kind of a tough guy early on, but in this latest movie, he wasn't really like, he was a tough guy, but lovable personality. Like, he wasn't a brash asshole, is what I'm saying.
A brash hole.
Yeah. Fighting with My Family, he was just The Rock. But like, even Skyscraper, he wasn't like that. Rampage, he wasn't like that. Jumanji, he wasn't like that. Baywatch wasn't like that. I'm even going back. Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart wasn't like that at all. To where I almost feel like the last time he was close to that might have been... Now, San Andreas I did not see, so that might have been it, because that was more of a serious movie. But if not San Andreas, maybe Furious 7 when we saw Hobbs in that one. But even that, I never saw Hobbs as that asshole character. Other than that, it would be Hercules. When he was Hercules in 2014.
Wasn't really asshole in that one either.
Yeah, but even so, it's like that was like his last non-comedic role. To the fact of, I wonder if The Rock is, and he's the most charismatic entertainer that we've ever seen. Even his days in WWE, where I'm not questioning if he can, because I know he can. I've seen him in the WWE. I've seen him be a face. I've seen him be a heel. For those not in the wrestling terms, I've seen him be a good guy. I've seen him be a bad guy. I know he has it in him. It's not that. It's just, I almost feel like The Rock has been typecast. Like, he has become his own kind of character where it's like, he is the lovable tough guy who's got a charismatic personality, but at the same time, like, I think of Rampage as that, where it's like charismatic tough guy, where I've got charisma, but at the same time, I'm also an introvert. Where that was the only thing where with his character, where when he has to play that introverted character, I'm like, I don't believe it because you're so charismatic and you're so funny.
That could be because you also
person.
have a predisposition to having him in as The Rock.
There's that too. But even like his one-liners that he has in those movies, it's like, yeah, introverts don't say it with that kind of smoothness.
True.
That you see where it's like.
Or with that confidence.
Yes. And I question that side of it. And that's why I can't wait to see his Black Adam, which is in pre-production. I think this is fun. This is fun to talk about right now. But if we're looking at this, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because I could totally see it happening. My only thought process is this. I'll ask you this, Johnny. When do you think Disney is going to develop and put out? What year do you think they put out the next Deadpool film? Because that'll change my opinion, will we see this for Deadpool 3?
I don't know. Because it hasn't been announced for Phase 4 Deadpool, has it?
No.
So, I mean, there is that one movie slot that we don't know what's going to be.
Which, by the way, they could keep Deadpool off on his own. Like, not a part of the MCU.
Yeah,
He's
that's
just
true. It could be it's not tied in just yet type thing. It could be, hey, we're still putting this out kind of under the Fox name because Disney may not want to pull like a rated R movie because they want to keep Deadpool rated R.
Yeah, they said they're going to.
So they could still be like left under the Fox umbrella. So that could just have not been announced because, hey, it's not part of the MCU.
Yeah.
Not just yet even.
Because it was...
Like, hey, we're going to like slowly tie that one in because when we pull Ryan Reynolds in, if we pull Ryan Reynolds in, he's going to have to be rated he's going to have to be PG-13, which is not impossible.
Ooh. This is from...
Like Detective Pikachu and Once Upon a Deadpool both prove that. That they can have a PG-13 movie without Ryan Reynolds being like... Or they can have a Deadpool while it being PG-13.
And now I'm seeing here that basically... Because I just typed in Deadpool 3 to see where exactly we are with Deadpool 3. Like, is a script done yet? Are they working on a script? And I type in Deadpool 3, and one of the first stories I come up with is basically what you were just saying. This is from, let me see, Culturist. It's the fan-sided network. I'm going to see where they got this news from. Basically, and they're not the only site to say this, that there's conflicting reports that Deadpool may not be R-rated. And then there's other articles that apparently David Leitch, who I said directed Deadpool 2, there's a Yahoo Entertainment article where they basically say that the director has said that the sequel could have a lower rating and doesn't need to be a... right here. He goes, so he says it's rated R, so that's not necessarily the MCU brand, but he doesn't necessarily need to be R, and Disney don't necessarily need to only make PG-13 movies. I think we'll find a happy ground. Here's what I think, and this is my thought process. If Deadpool's on his own, he's rated R. If he gets crossed over into a Spider-Man movie or a MCU movie,
PG-13.
PG-13. Like, it's which kind of a Deadpool are we going to see? Where if he's in his own movie, rated R. If he's in someone else's movie, we see Once Upon a Deadpool, which helped that's why I think Once Upon a Deadpool
Detective Pikachu
really helped the character. Because, like, Detective Pikachu works because it's basically Deadpool as Pikachu.
Yeah.
But at the same time, seeing Once Upon a Deadpool is seeing the Deadpool character in PG-13, which...
Exactly. I'm just saying Detective Pikachu is another
Deadpool.
reference to say Ryan Reynolds can do a PG-13 movie and still act like Deadpool.
Exactly. Where it didn't have to make Disney worried about what to do with Deadpool. I think the rated R thing, I don't think we see a Deadpool solo movie that's not rated R. Because, in my opinion, it'd be stupid by Disney just to be afraid of that part of it. to put it off on its own. So, I mean, to me, I think it's going to be rated R. My big question is, like I said, with The Rock, and I can't wait to see with Black Adam. And that's why I asked you, when do we see a Deadpool 3? Because with the other two Deadpools, it was 2016, 2018. If we're going down that timeline, 2020 would be where it is. But is Disney going to wait until post Phase 4? Are they going to wait until 2021? We know that X-Men is planned out, but they're not going to rush to X-Men. They're going to do Fantastic Four first and then go over to X-Men. The other kind of little nugget that we got to put in there is if we're talking about The Rock being in a Deadpool movie, is how's Black Adam going to fit in?
I guess it's whoever gets, because you said it's in pre-production.
It is. So
it's I guess it depends on who gets ready first.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Right now, pre-production, they've got a script done. They're churning. Like, those wheels are turning to where, here's what I think. If they're serious about bringing The Rock in, I'm almost sitting on it to where I feel like we could see a situation where we don't see The Rock in a Deadpool 3 movie because he's got Black Adam's not the only one. He's got Red Notice, which is in pre-production, Black Adam, which is in pre-production, and then he's got 4 that are announced: The King, San Andreas 2, Doc Savage, and then one of the ones that people are really excited about because it's a remake of an 80s movie, Big Trouble in Little China. So he's got, like, The Rock is the most, I don't know how he does it, how he's in all these movies. Like, he just gets it done, where he is the busiest guy in showbiz, it seems, to where
in the recent years, yeah,
getting him in a Deadpool movie has to fit into his schedule. And I don't know if it's going to work for Deadpool 3, but it could work for Deadpool 4. That's why the Garrison Kane thing, even if it is a Deadpool 4, could still work. I just don't know if we see it for Deadpool 3. We'll definitely, like, if he is, it'll be Deadpool 4 or 5 or Deadpool, or even an X-Force movie. Like you said, they could do an X-Force movie.
Do another Deadpool
with
solo
Deadpool
movie,
in
and
it.
then do another Deadpool solo movie, then do an X-Force movie, still keep it kind of rated R just to keep the because we'll call it the Deadpool franchise.
Yeah.
And then just any of those make rated R. When Deadpool joins the actual MCU, he becomes PG-13 once upon a Deadpool. And what could happen is do another solo Deadpool movie, or like some Deadpool franchise movie. Then when you can get The Rock, do what's it called? The X-Force movie with introducing Garrison Kane. And there you go. And that's all depending on like what The Rock's schedule is.
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't help you out with that word. I was switching the battery for the
No, you're good.
Yeah, it's like that's the biggest thing with The Rock, and that's anything, is his schedule. Is his schedule going to work out? Because
like, which movie's ready when?
Well, because
that's what it's
even
going to come down to.
Look at how long the Black Adam thing happened, to where, what was it, like a couple of years ago? It's like, yeah, we're going to have
been announced
The Rock
a while
is
ago.
Black Adam, and now we're finally getting it, like, starting to churn right now. Like, that's what we're.
I think part of it was DC
at.
wasn't sure what they were doing for a little bit.
There was that too.
Like, they were like, I'm like, okay, where do we go right now?
And of course, you've got to introduce Shazam before you introduce Black Adam, which I'm totally shocked. I'm totally excited for, because there was the deleted scene in the Shazam DVD set.
Oh, really?
So it's the Shazamily sitting at in the thrones, and they're kind of like, oh, these are cool. And then the I can't remember her name, purple suit speedster, she kind of looks over and she goes, why is there one empty? And there's an empty chair. Well, who sits there? Black Adam. Black Adam's the one who sits there. So it's kind of like a reference to, hey, he's here. we know he's here.
It's in the universe.
So, any final thoughts on this before we close up everything?
No, I'd be excited to have him in this one, in X-Force or
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3 or whatever, however Disney wants to play it out.
But for me, I feel like if we do get him, it'll be 4 or beyond. I don't think we get him in a Deadpool 3. But let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are we going to see The Rock in Deadpool 3? Will they make it work? Will they delay Deadpool 3 enough to where he's in Deadpool 3 and they put a foot in Ricky's mouth? Let us know what you guys think down below. If you don't want to see him in Deadpool but want to see him in the MCU somewhere else, let us know. Like Johnny said, the Namor thing, if you want that, let us know what you guys are thinking. Make sure to support us on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That's where you can help us get our new studio. That is the biggest MO for us. Get our own studio, a place that we can call home, because we use this. We're thankful to Pete that we can use this, but this is not our home. This is our rented home. Not really rented because we don't pay Pete, but this is our kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Borrowed?
Our Airbnb. It's MVP's Airbnb that we kind of use every once in a while to record. Make sure to rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. And what else? Twitter, War Machine 9085, Ricky Widmer at Most Valuable Pod. Thank you guys for checking us out. We'll see you next week. As always, have a good day, everybody.